Today, Trump and Elon have a huge, massive win, guys. This is what I am talking about right here. I don't know about you, but I feel like they're doing the Trump dance right now because this is back-to-back days of Trump winning with the Supreme Court to be able to move forward with his America First agenda. This is what we voted for. The Supreme Court has sided with the Trump administration and has upheld the mass firing of tens of thousands of probationary federal employees. I want to make sure I notate that, guys. Probationary. This granting a request for the emergency administrative stay on a lower court order blocking the firings. Federal court judge tries to step in and say you can't fire them. Trump said, no, we're cutting government, we're reducing the workforce, and we're making sure these were a lot of DEI positions, guys. 16,000 federal probationary employees no longer are going to be pushed into the federal government system by a judge. The Supreme Court sided with President Trump, overturning the activist judge's orders to try to rehire them back into the federal government. This is beautiful. The majority of the high court ruled that the plaintiffs' 9 nonprofit organizations who sued, remember guys, nonprofit organizations, NGOs that are literally supposed to be nonprofit, sued the Trump administration, going through an activist judge to try to get government employees back their jobs who were probationary. The court said that they lacked standings to sue them. So another massive win for Trump and Elon of just moving forward with the America First agenda. Guys, and if you thought that was great, listen to this. DHS revokes legal status for migrants who entered the U.S. on the Biden-era CBP-1 app and orders the migrants to leave immediately. So this is about as big as it gets. So massive that everybody that came through the app on their phone, that you could literally go through the app, schedule an appearance to literally walk through the gates of the United States. You didn't have to submit ID. You didn't even have to put a right photo on there. You didn't have to do anything. There was no verifiable, they weren't able to verify anything of the information that you put on there, and they just let people walk into the United States. Every single one of those more than 900,000 people that use that app have been told you need to leave, you need to get out and come in the right way. Get in line, get into America with your citizenship the right way. DHS spokesperson said canceling these parolees is a promise kept to the American people to secure our borders and protect national security. And the backbone of steel, guys, that's what Trump is right now. President Donald Trump has announced that the increase in tariffs on Chinese imports to 104%, guys. This is huge. He is showing China we are not playing around. We are going to have fair trade, whether you like it or not, and we've got a stronger backbone than you, so you better get ready to go toe-to-toe with us or else. Guys, Supreme Court wins back-to-back days. We've got a ton of breaking news to jump into today, and I love it. I want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, to all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family. Guys, we want you here. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. It is our job to serve you, to bust our butts, to give you the best show ever with the breaking news every single day. So please consider joining our family. Want to say thank you to everybody that is a member of the channel. Guys, thank you so much for your support, for just supporting us each month as we give back to charity. Remember, on the 22nd of every month, live on stream, we're donating thousands of dollars back to local charities with your support live on stream, guys. This is what this channel is about. It's about giving back. We also want to say thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We are truly grateful for your support. We got a ton of breaking news to get into today. I'm telling you guys, you're going to love this. Check this out. Why? Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties. I got you right here, guys. One moment.
Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't be a panicking. That's what the White House says. What's a panicking? Trump says it's a new party based on weak and stupid people. He says if you're strong, courageous, and patient, greatness will be the result. And he knows how to get results.
How was the golf tournament?
Very good, because I won. It's good to win. You heard I won, right? Did you hear I won?
Yeah.
Just to back it up, you were there, I won.
What's your handicap
I like
these
to
days?
win very low. I have a very low handicap.
Not giving an F about the bad headlines, that's Trump's mindset, according to the White House. Golfing during a market meltdown isn't a middle finger to middle America. It's a middle finger to the world. It's just business as usual, while the rest of the world begs for a meeting. Trump's built different. I wouldn't be able to hit a single fairway this weekend after looking at the Dow, but the man got shot, popped up with his fists in the air. He's not going to buckle when the Dow gets a haircut. After every hole, he was on the phone.
I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me, a deficit is a loss. We're going to have surpluses, or we're at worst going to be breaking even.
Every time another president calls, he's got to put another president on hold.
I can tell you that there are 50, 60, maybe almost 70 countries now who have approached us. So it's going to be a busy April, May, maybe into June.
The feeling around the world is I can't be the last one to reach a deal with Trump, because if I'm the last one, then I'm the one who's getting screwed. If you're a CEO or an agent or a dad, you know when someone calls, they need something, they're not just calling to talk.
Virtually every country wants to negotiate. If I didn't do what I did over the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't have anybody wants to negotiate. We would have gone to these countries, you want to talk? And they were, well, we don't want to talk. Now they're coming to us. Now they're offering things to us that we would have never even thought of asking them for, because they're experiencing a lot of hurt. And the hurt is that they've taken advantage of us, and we finally fought back.
Japan, who has a 50% tariff on American products, good luck finding a Chevy truck in Tokyo, called Trump today and said they're ready to strike a deal. Bessent says Japan's at the VIP table. The Prime Minister of Israel came to the White House and said he'll do everything we want.
We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States. We intend to do it very quickly. We think it's the right thing to do. And we're going to also eliminate trade barriers.
Let's
A variety
go.
of trade barriers that have been put up unnecessarily. And I think Israel can serve as a model for many countries who ought to do the same, Mr. President. We are going to eliminate the tariffs.
Across the pond, Europe says they're ready to drop every single solitary tariff.
We stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal.
Europe was talking tough last week, and now Ursula's begging for mercy. And the world's richest man says Ursula's onto something.
I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America. That would be that's what I hope occurs.
Guys, let me tell you this. You want to talk about the backbone of steel that is actually making things happen? So I want to show you this right here. President Donald Trump has announced the increase of tariffs on Chinese imports to 104%. And I just saw somebody put it in the chat that said, oh, what about China? They have all the rare earth minerals. Guys, they're already prepared for it. They're already have everybody in the mix that is already a part of and wants to help the administration to make things happen. Shemeth Palihapitiya, this guy right here, who is one of the Facebook initial people that was in Facebook, said, keep calm, carry on. This may be a good moment to let everyone know that I control one of the, if not the largest rare earth supplies outside of China. At full capacity, it can be 25% of the world's needs. all located within countries allied with the U.S. and the U.S. itself, guys. This is the genius behind Trump's tariffs, the genius behind Elon Musk and all his friends, because they're all besties, guys. These are all people, they're billionaires. They knew what was going to happen. They knew China would be tough, but they knew that, hey, we got to prepare ourselves. We got to make sure that we're not reliant on communist China or on Russia or on the European Union or Canada. We are self-reliant as the United States of America, baby. And that's what I love. They thought ahead, and this is your evidence right here. This is the receipts, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, this is such good news, because no matter what, America has already won. We now are officially half of the countries that we put reciprocal tariffs on. They now have come back to negotiate to lower the tariffs and get to a zero trade deficit with the United States so that we stop losing, guys. Is that not America first? Check this out.
And also more freedom of people to move between Europe and North America, if they wish. If they wish to work in Europe or wish to work in America, they should be allowed to do so, in my view. So that has certainly been my advice to the president.
Trump says it's not just about zero tariffs. Other countries have tons of excuses why they won't let our products in. Like, oh, your big, beautiful beef has hormones, or your Cadillacs are too brittle.
They put things on that make it impossible for you to sell a car. It's not a money thing. They make it so difficult, the standards and the tests. They drop a bowling ball on the top of your car from 20 feet up in the air, and if there's a little dent, they say, no, I'm sorry, your car doesn't qualify. When the same car from Germany or anything would dent likewise. Unless you can have an army tank, it's going to dent.
Negotiators have to remain patient. They can't be panicking. Maintain leverage and let the other side show some leg.
President Trump, as you know, is better than anyone in giving himself maximum leverage. We outlined the tariffs on April 2nd and then gave the countries several days to think about it. I suggested that the foreign officials keep your cool, they do not escalate, and come to us with your offers on how you're going to drop tariffs, how you're going to drop non-tariff barriers, how you're going to stop your currency manipulation, how you're going to stop the subsidized financing. And at a point, President Trump will be ready to negotiate.
A famous venture capitalist says this is what Trump's doing. He built a big wall around America and says you can't sell here unless you do X, Y, and Z. And he's seeing how people react. He's fielding offers. And when he's ready, he'll bring everybody to the table together and negotiate a deal that puts America first in the New World Order.
Oh my goodness, guys. I don't know about y'all, but that just makes me so happy, guys. Like, for the first time, we are actually being put first. Like, it literally I'm not joking, guys. Like, I'm tearing up right now because I feel like politicians and elitists have been taking advantage of the American people for so dang long. And finally, we have somebody who says, you know what? You deep state, screw y'all. We're going to put Americans first, and we're going to make other countries pay for Americans' taxes so they don't have to pay for taxes. Do y'all realize, guys, in literally the average American pays between $7,000 and $8,000 a year in taxes. Think about over the course of 10 years, that's $70,000, $80,000 that gets put back into your pocket because a president actually cared about you. If you appreciate that, guys, show some love in the chat. Man, this is good stuff.
Types of deals happen once in a lifetime. The last one was in Bretton Woods during World War II, when America dropped all of our tariffs to bail out our allies and create a free trade alliance system to contain communism. And once a new deal is announced, or individual deals, it'll trigger massive rallies. Other countries can either come to the table now or lose big. And so far, China's losing big.
As you know, against my statement, they put a 34% tariff on above what their ridiculous tariffs were already. And I said, if that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on. We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do this, what I'm doing. And I'll tell you what, it's an honor to do it because we have been just destroyed what they've done to our system.
Trump's Treasury Secretary broke the Bank of England. He knows what he's doing. And now he's going to break the Bank of China. This is all about fairness. If you're going to tax our products, we're going to tax yours at the same rate. Those are called reciprocal. And if countries don't play fair, reciprocal tariffs go up Wednesday. And the people you hear complaining about the trade war are foreign countries and American companies who outsource to foreign countries. Trump basically said, we have to knock off using slave labor and sweatshops. And Democrats in Wall Street were like, no, my flat screen's going to cost an extra $70. Most American workers say it's about damn time.
Let's go.
It is so unfair what's happening to the American worker. They can't compete when you have that kind of unlevel playing field. We're talking about an opportunity finally to create a lot of millions of American jobs, middle-class jobs, if we could get it fair. If we're fair, the American technology, creativity, work ethic is going to just do extraordinary things. And we're going to create millions of American jobs with this new paradigm. It's wonderful news.
Every time the stock market got rocked, we bailed them out. But Main Street's never gotten a bailout. Main Street's been in pain for 40 years. What's the market been in pain for 4 days?
Is there pain in the market at some point you're unwilling to tolerate this idea of a Trump put? Is there a threshold?
I think your question is so stupid. I mean, I think it's I don't want anything to go down. But sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. And we have such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries.
It's crying on CNBC are the same ones who are happy to shut down the entire economy for a virus with a 99% survival rate. Kramer, known to be right almost all of the time, said today was going to be Black Monday.
The president doesn't try to reach out and reward these countries and companies that play by the rules in the 1987 scenario. The one where we went down 3 days and then down 22% on Monday has the most cogency. We will not have to wait out too long, will we? We'll know by Monday.
Today, the NASDAQ closed higher, and the Dow and S&P were down less than 1%. I'm not minimizing turmoil. Trust me, it can be scary. No one wants to lose money in the market, even if it's a paper loss. Hopefully, we'll get it straightened out soon. The White House says, again, don't be a panicking. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
The first rule, particularly for the smaller investors out there, you can't lose money unless you sell. And right now, the smart strategy is not to panic, just stay in, because we are going to have the biggest boom in the stock market we've ever seen under the Trump policies. We will find a bottom in this market quickly. We will hit 50,000 on the Dow easily by the end of this term.
How big of a toll is the bear market taking on Trump? He's more popular now than he was before he launched the trade war. Look at that. He's up 4 points since Liberation Day. And a majority of the country supports tariffing foreign nations who cheat. Globalization created the Rust Belt that Democrats crowed about but never fixed. Then Trump was elected to fix what Democrats couldn't. And he's only been at it for what, less than a week? And Wall Street can't believe he hasn't folded. Trump
guys, this is America winning. You want to see what America winning looks like, guys? I've got the chart for you because this affects every single person. Look at this chart of gasoline prices, guys. Look at the majority of America is now moving towards under $3, except for your crazy liberal progressive states like California, Oregon, Washington. But look how beautiful this is, guys. A green. You want this. The more the green, the lower the gas price. This is what Trump said he was going to do. Lower grocery prices, lower egg prices, lower gas prices. He was going to lower interest rates. He was going to eliminate tax on Social Security, tax on overtime, tax on tips. This, to me, is helping out the average American, not the elitists. What do they always say? Oh, he's bailing out his billionaire friends. Right now, Trump could care less, in his sense, about where the stock market is at, because just like you heard Navarro, By the end of the term, it's going to be over 50,000 because of all the plans that they have for it. But what matters most is that the average American feels in their pockets that they are winning, guys. That's what we want. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much, Michelle Lindsay, for the super chat. Said True Life News has become more than a channel. It's become a family. Let's go. And thank you so much, Lay Lewis, who said, can you smell what Trump is cooking? He's got that kitchen scolding hot and waiting for the ticks pop. Let's go. I want to thank also Glow, who gifted 5 True Life News memberships. Hey, if you got a free membership from Glow, show Glow some love in the chat. Guys, this is amazing, amazing news. This has been one of the most monumental. DHS revokes the legal status for migrants who entered the U.S. on the Biden-era CBP-1 app. And orders migrants to leave immediately, more than 900,000. So everything that Biden did, Trump is reversing. All the illegal immigration into the country, Trump is 100% reversing. And this right here, guys, Supreme Court rules on status of tens of thousands of fired probationary employees in Trump's favor. One of the biggest wins ever, guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is 100%. Trump is going to have his way. We knew that these judges were going to try to fight him with these non-basis, don't have any merit rulings, TROs. But guess what? Supreme Court under emergency ruling has ruled in Trump's favor. That's what I'm talking about. But listen to this, guys, because he's not stopping there.
He's been saying it since 1987. He learned under really the great Lou Dobbs, a giant who first started doing this on CNN and really woke the nation up to what it really started happening in the early 70s when we had our first in 1973, when we had our first trade deficit. What a year 1973 was, by the way. 1973, that critical year. We had our first trade deficit. It was Lou Dobbs that brought to people's attention. Donald Trump, as a young man and an entrepreneur in New York, picked this up. When Trump would go on television and start doing media that was not related to his, at that time, he was a real estate developer, and then he got into gaming in Atlantic City. But when I was at Goldman Sachs, after coming out of Harvard in the 80s, in investment banking and finance, Trump was a real estate developer, but he was also on the society pages every night. That was that kind of roaring 80s. And Donald Trump was a massive player in New York City on the social scene. But when he started going on programs and talking about public policy and talking about the state of the country, this is what he talked about. And he could see it as Dobbs could see it. And very few people were talking about what you had is you had the hostile takeovers by Mike Milken and the guys at Drexel with the junk bonds, and they were going after old industrial America, particularly in the Midwest. And Wall Street at the time was getting ready to shift those. They were looking at taking industrial America and shipping it to a lower cost place. That would have been China. At the same time, you have this whole NAFTA thing building. NAFTA came into the early 90s. That was Bob Rubin that Peter Schiff just talked about, who was one of the, I don't want to say my bosses. He ran Goldman Sachs at the time on the trading side, and a quite brilliant guy. But he was Secretary of the first National Economic Council and then Secretary of the Treasury under Bill Clinton. They conceived of the whole, NAFTA situation. This was both the globalist Republicans and the Democratic Party. At the same time, they backed the Chinese Communist Party in '89 after Tiananmen Square. We're going to have this conference on the anniversary of Tiananmen that we try to have every year. At Tiananmen Square, the Bush regime, the Bush with Scowcroft in that crowd, the people that supposedly Reagan's third term, they had essentially taken Reagan's second term from him. They backed the Chinese Communist Party and told them, hey, we're going to give you most favored nation and World Trade Organization. That went through the same sort of globalist and people that were turning the United States into the financialization of our economy, the service economy, because they were going to ship all the manufacturing out of the upper Midwest particularly. That's where they're going to start. And the South with the textile business and the clothing business. And out of places even like New York City, the garment district, all gone, all shipped away. Because they promised a brave new world of services and financialization. Well, guess what? It worked for the elites, the people that conceived it, and the credential class they built around them of the MBAs and the law firms and the marketing groups and the communication groups, all that crowd that goes to Davos, they've done well. The top 1% to 3% have now dominate on ownership of the assets of the country. The credential class, who are their lackeys, all have pretty good paying jobs. Now, haven't been able to save any money. They don't have a ton of assets. They've got some. That credential class, that whole middle class or working class, the Democratic Party abandoned.
Guys, this right here, I hope everybody gets to see that for the past 40, 50 years, guys, the elitists, the Democrats, all these people have literally stuck it to the middle class and the poor, at the same time telling everybody, we're going to help you out. We're going to make sure you're taken care of. We're going to put you first. And yet it hasn't transpired. It hasn't happened. And we really started to feel it in the past 4 years when they just went all the way. No filter whatsoever. Spending out to oblivion when it came to our national debt. Inflation rising like crazy. But thank God, like sometimes you have to see where it gets worse before it gets better. But when I look back, as I'm studying and I'm researching for the show, what happened in the 90s? What happened in the 2000s? What happened in the from 2010 to 2020? All I can think about is it just kept getting worse and worse. Things kept getting more expensive. Rent kept getting more expensive. Houses kept getting more expensive. College kept getting more expensive. Medical care kept getting more expensive. Where was the help to the middle class? We bailed out in 2008 all the rich billionaires in Wall Street. And what did America get? Some $400 checks? That's it? Guys, I'm telling you, if this isn't, like, to me, providence in the sense that we are finally exposing the deep state, I don't know what is.
This is to the core of President Trump. That's why he said yesterday, not only is he the only one who could do it because of his core belief, he's the only one that has the moral courage to do this. And to stand with that heat, think of the heat over the weekend. And even now, he's bringing down the economy. He's going to have a massive recession. He's going to cause a depression. This is the same individual. When they stole the 2020 election and essentially ran him out of town to go back to Mar-a-Lago, if he had been a good little boy and played the game, they'd give him a big book deal. They were allowed, the big golf tournaments start coming to his courses. Everything had been fine. His life would have been pretty good. He made a conscious decision, understanding that the Jack Smiths of the world were out there, that they would indict him and send him to prison to die in prison.
Yep.
They would bankrupt him and smear him and destroy his name and his reputation and his families and all the people around him. God. In his movement. Remember those billboards? Remember he told you to watch the film, The Lies of Others? About the Stasi in East Germany and people ratting on each other, the psychology, that's what they were. Remember those billboards? After January and President Trump went back, he made a conscious decision. So Ed Luce, with all your knowledge and all that kind of Oxford, Cambridge, British intelligence, you missed the point. He's not a Roman emperor. He's Cincinnatus. He's the American Cincinnatus. He came back from all that consciously, with intention, understanding that everything that was in front of him, he was going to return to the White House.
Yes.
And in returning to the White House, in those 4 years of knowledge and working and building up cadres, building up teams, subject matter experts, that he was going to drop the hammer. And the hammer he has dropped.
Yes.
Don't think the hammer's dropped? What do you think they're doing in Beijing right now? What do you think those conference rooms in the Forbidden City are doing right now? What do you think the Chinese Communist Party is doing, tearing their hair out about how to respond not to an emperor, but to a leader of men and women, Donald Trump, who's dug in on this.
Boom, baby. And look, I got some breaking news for you guys right now. Remember that guy who tried to take out Trump, who tried to assassinate him at the golf course? The DOJ revealed that Trump's assassin, Ryan Ruth, tried to buy military weapons from Ukraine to take out Trump, including a rocket launcher. Guys, I'm going to say this again because this is how crazy it is that we're dealing with some people that have lost it. DOJ reveals that Trump's assassin, Ryan Ruth, tried to buy military weapons from Ukraine to take out Trump, including a rocket launcher. Ruth asked for the Ukrainian military for a Stinger or RPG to take out Trump because the Trump would be bad for Ukraine. How is this even, like, this guy's wearing whatever, a handkerchief around his neck, United States American flag, but yet he's more for Ukraine than he is for America? Guys, the brainwashing is so real right now, but this is what we're learning. And if Trump wasn't president, I promise you we would have no idea what is going on right now. I want to say thank you so much, Woolly Burger, for your continued support and being a member. Michelle Fiala said God is watching over us. He's providing our needs. Amen. GL Potfreeman, thank you so much for the super chat. Tracy Garner, April Green, we are praying for you. She said, I already have a lot of health issues. Just had a mammo ultrasound. They found a mass. Help me, Lord. Hey, we're praying for you, April Green. So we got your back. The family's going to pray for you. Y'all show them some love in the chat, guys. This is huge. There's some more super chats we'll get to in a moment, guys. But I'm telling you, the reason that they're coming so hard, the reason that they can't stop because of what I'm about to show you next. If this wasn't happening, I promise you, it wouldn't be half of the stuff that they're coming against Trump with the federal district judges, with all these other countries and whatnot trying to come up against him. Listen to this, because when you touch the money, when you go to the source of what funds everything, and that is the money, that's whenever they say, there's nothing on the table that we won't do. Listen to this.
Welcome, everyone, to today's DOGE subcommittee hearing on federal real estate. This is an area where the Trump administration is taking long overdue action. The federal government owns a massive real estate portfolio of more than 250,000 buildings. No one knows how much of this real estate is actually being put to use or what it's worth on the open market. Here's what we do know. Taxpayers spend about $10 billion annually just to operate and maintain all of it. American taxpayers have been drowning in debt, inflation, unaffordable grocery prices, high interest rates, and have been suffering to get by. All while the federal government is pouring billions of dollars into wasteful, empty office buildings and luxurious high-end furniture, which the American taxpayers, can't even afford themselves. It's quite a hypocrisy. These buildings sat largely empty during the entire Biden administration, which kept federal office workers at home long after the COVID-19 pandemic ended. By the way, truck drivers, first responders, so many people worked during the pandemic, but federal workers could stay home, and these federal buildings sat empty. Here in D.C., GAO found in 2023 that the vast majority of federal agency headquarter buildings were less than 25% occupied, some much less. Meanwhile, from 2022 to 2024, the backlog of deferred maintenance on the aging buildings the government owns grew from $216 billion to $370 billion. That's more than 1/3 of $1 trillion it will cost to restore them if we don't sell them. What's worse, aside from paying for useless leases and allowing federal buildings to decay, the Biden administration spent billions on high-end furniture for empty buildings during the pandemic. No one was sitting in those chairs or at those desks. Our witness from Open the Books will testify to that. It is only now, under the Trump administration, that we see a light at the end of the tunnel. This administration is taking historic action on reducing the size of the government, and with it, a significant reduction in the useless office space that is claimed to be essential for the government to operate. GSA.
God. Guys, this is what the Democrats are fighting about. They say we need these essential buildings, but yet less than 25% occupancy. Less than 25% occupancy, guys. But we have to have these buildings, tens of billions of dollars. The stuff that you're going to see today, guys, that I'm going to show you that they've uncovered is so corrupt, is such a big scandal that you've had politicians who literally had their family members who were real estate, who the politicians then used their government access to go and buy these real estate buildings for the federal government through their family members, who then got the commission worth sometimes millions of dollars. So then the federal government could own a building that we never used. Guys, that is the corruption that we're finding today. Is that not mind-blowing? It is so bad what we are uncovering, but what's great is that we're uncovering it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, because this right here, guys, this shows that we've been getting, the American people have been losing for so long until MAGA, baby.
Has established a goal to reduce the size of the federally owned real estate footprint by 50%. This is a massive real estate auction.
Let's go.
The president issued an executive order instructing agencies to update their property inventory and to determine which of their government leased or government-owned spaces they don't need. In just the few months since Inauguration Day, DOGE and the General Services Administration have sold off several federal properties and worked with agencies to eliminate hundreds of unneeded taxpayer-funded office leases. More specifically, they've canceled nearly 700 federal leases of 7.9 million square feet of space, saving taxpayers around $400 million. One of the canceled leases was a nearly $250 million 15-year lease at a luxury office building on Pennsylvania Avenue to house Voice of America and the United States Agency for Global Media. The Biden administration signed the lease late last year, sticking taxpayers with the tab. It's one of the fanciest office buildings in the city. You can see of the building on this poster board.
Wow, that's nice.
Incredible. Furthermore, this beautiful building had zero broadcasting capabilities, a capability one would think would be essential for a broadcasting media agency. The cost to taxpayers to build out the building with broadcasting capabilities, $130 million. The Biden team wanted to move USAGM and Voice of America from this building that we are sitting in today into that luxury space. Instead, the president is shutting down the whole state-run media operation, and taxpayers will be spared a $250 million lease and millions more for renovations and security measures. This is just one example of countless egregious abuses of leases and contracts being paid out across the federal government.
Oh my goodness.
Another egregious abuse of taxpayer dollars regarding federal property was the $200 million the FBI received last year for a new headquarters in Maryland. While the FBI was going after the American people, parents at school board meetings, and many others, our federal government gave them hundreds of millions of dollars of American tax dollars for a brand new, beautiful headquarters. Federal agencies shouldn't be maintaining empires at taxpayer expense. That's why GSA, the federal landlord agency driving this reform process, plans to lead by example. Imagine that.
Wow.
It intends to vacate its current headquarters building in downtown D.C. and co-locate with another agency Then it will sell the GSA headquarters. Before I close, I'll note that Congress also acted on this front in January. We passed a law requiring federal building occupancy to be tracked and for low occupancy buildings to be sold. But it will take a willing partner in the White House to implement that law and to take other steps to shrink the federal real estate empire. We now have that partner, and I look forward to working with the Trump administration and DOGE to finally right-size the federal real estate footprint.
Guys, is that not beautiful? Like, I've got some crazy stuff to show you right here, but this is what I love is that, again, the wasteful spending. They're willing to just have these buildings, spend tens of billions of dollars to house them. Nobody even goes to work. Less than 25% occupancy. For what? This is our taxpayer dollars that have been so mismanaged. People got paid off to get buildings that nobody was even going to use, and then they want to go and lease these brand new buildings, and then they don't even have the infrastructure to do what needs to be done, just like for the Voice of America. Guys, if this right here, I hope in this, that's why I appreciate when y'all share these videos, guys. I appreciate when you like these videos because people don't know this is happening. People think that the government needs to be bigger, that they're doing a great job. They are the worst managed, inefficient people in our country is the government. The federal government at that. They spend our money without care, and then they just expect us to pay more taxes. Want to say thank you so much, Judy Lynn Loving Spirit, for the super chat. Said, any news on SSS checks? Love this channel. I believe it is getting blessed by so many now. And Groving, God bless you, Joel, and your family. God bless you, Judy Lynn. And y'all show Judy Lynn some love in the chat, as well as Michelle Eisner for the super chat. And designed by Phoebe. Hey, she's given 5 gifted TrueLife News memberships, guys. Y'all show Designed by Phoebe some love in the chat, as well as Mr. Tracy J. Norby, who said thanks to any and everyone in those given part of themselves. Want to say happy birthday, Deanna Scott. And thank you so much for being here in the fun house. Y'all show Mr. Norby and them some love in the chat. Guys, y'all are so gracious. Thank you so much for your support because we want to bring the receipts. We want to bring you the facts. This new study came out today, guys. If you got the flu vaccine, you are 27% more likely to get the flu. Just that, this kind of doesn't make any sense. If you get the flu vaccine, you're 27% more likely to get the flu. This is the actual chart from the study. Look at this. People that don't get the vaccine for the flu get it less likely. And the people that get vaccinated get it more. How does this make any sense? I don't know, but let me tell you this. There's money in the vaccine, guys. There's money in the flu vaccine. There's money in all of this. That's why they got to get it every year. Got to get it every year. And look at it. It's literally causing more harm than it is good. And again, this is why when we go back to the current experts that we have now, they don't do well. They've been wrong for so long. Listen to this, guys, because this is going to blow your mind and you're going to love what you're about to hear.
I think there was this concern among some folks that Donald Trump would come in for a second term and kind of be a lame duck. He ain't no lame duck. If anything, he's a soaring eagle. What am I talking about here? Let's talk about Trump executive orders in 2025. He's already signed 111 so far. That is the most at this point in a presidency in at least 100 years. In fact, it's the most in any single year, and we're only in April, since Harry S. Truman in the early 1950s. The bottom line is whether you like Trump or you don't like him, you can't say that he's come in and not try to deliver on what he at least believes was his promises on the campaign trail, and he's doing so in historic fashion.
How are people reacting to and feel about Trump's approach?
Yeah, okay, so Trump's approach here, what are we talking about? Trump's approach to presidential power. I think the American people recognize what he's doing here is completely different. We're talking, get this, 86% of the American public believes that Trump's approach to presidential power is completely different from past presidents compared to only
Yes.
14% who believe it is in line with precedent. And we're talking about at least 79% of Democrats, independents, and Republicans. So again, you can agree or you can disagree with Donald Trump, but what you can't disagree with is that he's doing things very differently. I have used the Frank Sinatra quote before. He is doing it, quote unquote, my way, and that is what Donald Trump has done throughout both of his presidential terms, and he's certainly doing that, Kate Baldwin, in term number 2.
So completely differently, clearly they agree, but take it a step further? Do the people think he has too much, he's taken too much power?
Yeah, this I think is the real question, right? You can believe that he's doing stuff completely differently, but do you think that he has a little too much power or not? And this is interesting. So Trump's presidential power is too much, the right amount, too little. Well, 47% say too much, but then you get 36% who say the right amount. Then you get 17% who say too little. So you're essentially dealing with a majority of the American public, 53%, who do not say that Trump has too much power. They either says he has too little power or the right amount of power. So the idea, that argument that Donald Trump is, quote unquote, a king, that I don't think holds with the American people. It does hold maybe with 47%, but with the majority of folk, they believe Donald Trump's doing something completely differently, and they don't believe he has too much power, and the executive orders he signed certainly suggest he's no lame duck. He is, as I said at the beginning, a soaring eagle.
Boom, baby. Again, guys, this is CNN who is literally reporting to us that, you know what? America's okay with this. America is okay with winning, is okay with being put first, is okay with holding these countries accountable for all the things that they've done to us when it comes to taking advantage of us when it comes to tariffs, when it comes to our stock markets, when it comes to the presidents just allowing any other country to do whatever they want. We give them so much foreign aid, and yet when it comes to the American people, what do they say? Nope. Got to raise taxes on American people. We got to give billions more to everybody else in the world, but we got to raise taxes on the American people. And this right here, guys, this is the big news today. The Supreme Court has sided with President Trump, overturning an activist judge's order to rehire over 16,000 federal probationary employees. This is a massive win for the Trump administration, for Elon Musk, because they're the ones that recommended for these people to be laid off. Now remember, they do get the 8-month severance. 8 months of just getting paid out. They can go find another job and then get double the pay. So this right here, guys, again, we knew that most of the TROs that these activist judges have been sending to Trump has to listen to them by law. But then he can escalate them to the Supreme Court, which then can provide the final ruling on whether those TROs are merited or if they can be overturned and Trump can do what he needs to do. And on most of these, I would say we're right now at like 90% of these TROs. Guess what? Trump has won. That's why they're planning this week to pass 2 big bills. The SAVE Act to require federal voter ID at all federal elections, and the No Rogue Judges Act, so that these activist judges cannot issue nationwide injunctions trying to control the whole entire nation when they're district judges, guys. This right here is huge because, again, too, we're hearing it from the man himself. Listen to this, because if they don't get this done, we already know Trump's pretty mad with what has happened. Check this out.
Capitol Hill, as you know. We had a great boost of excitement in the Republican conference meeting this morning. We welcomed our 2 new members from Florida. We were delighted to win those seats handily, and so Congressman Jimmy Petronis and Randy Fine join us. We got them on their committees, and they are joining the team. That team is going to be very busy, as you heard, the recount of sort of what we're going to be working on over the next few days here. Between now and Thursday, the House is going to pass some really important legislation. We'll ensure that only American citizens decide American elections, as you heard. We're going to prevent activist judges from issuing these unconstitutional nationwide injunctions and legislating from the bench, which has become a real problem. And we're going to roll back 2 burdensome Biden-era CFPB rules. This is all common sense issues, and they're things that make sense to the American people. Let me talk about the SAVE Act very briefly. You've heard some about this already. Polling shows that nearly 90% of the American people believe that proof of citizenship should be required to vote.
Yes.
There are few issues in American politics that enjoy that level of bipartisan support. This should pass with a massive bipartisan margin, but watch, it won't. The Democrats are contorting themselves into a pretzel trying to justify some sort of vote against this. Last year, they argued we were too close to a federal election to make voting changes. And then they said that non-citizens don't actually vote. And then they said the SAVE Act will somehow result in voter suppression. All that was total nonsense.
Yep.
Now they're claiming that the SAVE Act disenfranchises married women who change their last names. I mean, it's absurd. What they're trying to do is protect the ability of
disenfranchises married women who have changed their name from voting. Remember when they said that basically black people were too stupid to vote because they weren't smart enough to get an ID or smart enough to know where the DMV was? That's what they said, guys. That's what all the Democrats said. No, if you're going to cut out minority voters. And then they ask, well, why would we cut them out? Oh, because they don't know how to get an ID. They don't know where the DMV is. They don't know how to go get a federal ID. So whenever you try to put in voter ID laws, you're trying to cut out the minorities. You don't want black people or Mexicans or not Mexicans, but Hispanics to vote. And then now, since pretty much we had a record breakout of minorities vote and they voted for Trump in the last election, now they're saying it's going to be married women who've changed their last name. If this isn't a bunch of you know what, guys, this is so absurd how far the Democratic Party is willing to go and say to try to keep from, because I'm telling you, if we put voter ID in place, we're going to have red waves, guys, without a shadow of a doubt.
Non-citizens to participate in our elections. Plain and simple, that's what this is about. And we know it's a crisis because the last administration, as we all well know, opened the border wide, and we had, by some counts, 20 million illegal aliens come into the country, right? There's no mechanism in federal law, in current law, that requires states to prove citizenship. So even though it is currently against the law, only U.S. citizens should decide U.S. elections, there's no way to make sure that's actually happening. So the SAVE Act is so critically important. It follows common sense, and the American people are with us. The Democrats, I predict, will not be, and they're going to have to answer for that. Let me talk about reconciliation. You heard a lot about this. This is the mechanism that we have to advance the Trump agenda in a big way and deliver results to the American people, all those who voted for these big changes. And this week, we're working in the House to advance the Senate's amendment to our budget resolution, as you know. Just to recount this, we've been working on this for over a year. We started this process well before most of the people in this room agreed with us that we would have this moment of unified government where we would have Republican majorities in the House and Senate, and of course the White House as well. And so we started that process. I want to make 4 important points about the Senate's amendment to our House resolution. Number 1, the budget resolution is not the law. Okay, all this does is it allows us to continue the process, begin drafting the actual legislation that really counts, and that's the one big beautiful bill. Number 2, the Senate amendment makes no changes to the reconciliation instructions that we put into the budget resolution. So our objectives remain intact. Number 3, any final reconciliation bill has to include historic spending reductions that we included in our resolution, while also safeguarding essential programs. And you've heard a commitment from us over and over that will happen, and the president has said it himself over and over as well. The 4th point is that reconciliation will be a collaborative process between the House and Senate. You're going to see the Republican Party in both chambers working together as one team. I know that's a rare occasion, and people don't really know what that looks like, but we're actually going to do it this time. The House is not going to participate in an us versus them charade. We won't do it. To secure and accomplish our mission, we got to be working together and rowing in the same direction. And I'm fiercely committed to doing that, and so is Leader Thune and our members on both sides. Passing this amendment just allows us to get off the sidelines and get on the field and start this game. It's the kickoff, so to speak, with one of my football metaphors, and we got to get this done. Republicans have an historic, once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver relief to hardworking families and set our country back on the path of prosperity. The American people desperately need us to take this action, and we will. As we wrote in a letter to our conference this weekend, time really is of the essence. There's a lot of pressure points that are outside of our control, but are forcing this action. We're months away from the X date on the debt limit. The border security resources are being diminished. Markets are unsettled, and the largest tax increase in American history is set to hit families and businesses at the end of this year if we do not act. And for all those reasons, we have no luxury of complacency, and we really don't have time to dither on this thing. So we'll be moving that forward, and you'll see that action this week. Okay, with that, I'll take a few questions. What do we got?
Question on two tax proposals that are being talked about in the White House. Just want to get your official comment on them. One, a 40% millionaire surtax is still being talked about over there. What's your opinion on that? And the second is an export tax credit to help those who are facing, such as in China, retaliatory tariffs. What are your thoughts on those?
Well, look, I'm not going to comment on specific proposals because there's hundreds of them on the table right now, and I don't want to put my thumb on the scale. I mean, generally, we're trying to reduce taxes around here, so that's, that's a general principle. But we'll have to see. We've got a lot of great ideas. The formulation that we'll try to work on and complete over the coming weeks, the next several weeks, few weeks, I hope, maybe several weeks, is to get to the point of consensus on all of those different factors and finding the level that will not only, as I said, reduce spending and change the debt trajectory for the country, but also protect our essential programs. And I'm convinced that we can do both. So,
guys, again, you hear it this week. This is a make it or break it week, guys, for us. We got to get the SAVE Act in place. We got to make sure we get the No Rogue Rules, No Rogue Judges Rules Act passed so that these judges cannot just issue nationwide TROs trying to control the entire United States. It's a big, big week, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this is huge. Now, I told you guys, we're bringing you the real receipts. It's one thing to hear from somebody who is on a news anchor like Fox, CNN, any of these, but when you hear from the actual people in the rooms themselves, it changes everything. Listen to this.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett just leaving the DOGE.
Representative Tim Burchett out of Tennessee. That's my state. Let's go.
Subcommittee at Marjorie Taylor Greene chairs. She put me on. I always say I go in there ticked off and I leave more ticked off. We were in the building over here, federal building. It was empty that we supposedly occupy. Huge downtown building, if you can see that. And in the parking lot, there's parking spots down here, which is unheard of. When you look out on the street, people are parked bumper to bumper. But anyway, we found out we paid $200,000 for solar powered picnic tables. We're not really sure what the solar power did. It might have had a charging station, I don't know. But the thing was, it was by the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and they bought them during COVID. If you can imagine that, when they're telling everybody else to social distance, rules for thee and not for me kind of thing. And then we were sitting in chairs in there, if you can believe this. It cost $2,700. Cost $1,600.
Wait. The chairs, $2,700 for a chair. Can you believe this? And he just said they bought solar picnic tables during the pandemic when you were supposed to be social distancing.
The GSA headquarters, which oversees it, is you're not going to believe this, is 14% occupied. We got to clean this mess up. When I was mayor of Knowles County, we got rid of a lot of vacant property that we didn't need, and we sold it. And guess what? It went back on the tax rolls, and that's exactly what needs to happen. You can imagine this multiplied all over our great country. It's in the billions of dollars, and we need to get it back on the tax rolls and pay down our debt. Dadgummit. Anyway, thank y'all for sending me here.
Guys, oh my goodness. Like, if the average American had to vote on what has happened, where our money has gone towards, we would all be saying no. This, and I'm telling you this, guys, I called it right here What did I tell you about this guy, Stephen A. Smith, a sports commentator? I said this guy is going to be running for president. He's going to be running for, he's probably going to be one of the Democratic nominees. He said, time to stop messing around. Life is great, especially at ESPN/Disney. Hate the thought of being a politician, but sick of the mess. So I'm officially leaving all the doors open. Right now, he is polling to win the Democratic nominee over 30%. He's never done politics in his entire life. But so much common sense, guys. I told you this. Democrats have lost so much people that they don't even want to be associated with them anymore. There's going to be a new essential rebirth of people that are more to the center, more common sense than the Democratic Party that say, you know what? Tariffs are okay. You know what? Secure borders are okay. You know what? Men and women's sports is not okay. That's where this guy comes from. Lots of things are about to change, guys, big time. I want to say thank you so much, Bystander, for the super chat. Let's go. And Tina M. Wakefield, welcome to the family. Deanna Scott, thank you so much for your support. Said, thank y'all for our continued support. God bless our family members who need some healing prayers. Want to say thank you so much, April Green, for the super chat. He said, all these decades later, the American people suffered, but God said, no more. Let me put Trump in office to get some relief. Guys, is this not amazing, wonderful news, guys? And guess what? It ain't stopping here, guys. Check this out.
Has been taken advantage of. For the first time in my lifetime, a politician cares more about the actual health of the economy than the media's perception of him. Now, while the global markets did melt down today, Trump hosted the Dodgers at the White House. And while people in the media, the same people most of whom don't actually even own stocks, those people pretended to be experts when this thing melted down. The adults in the room were not sweating this, and that's what that shows right there with Trump. Has it been a great few days for the American stock market? No. But it's been far worse for just about everybody else, especially today. Hong Kong down 10%. Taiwan, 9.6%, Singapore, 7.8%, China was down 10%, Japan down 6.1%, the EU down 7%. Taiwan had to halt their trading today. All this because Trump simply taxed other countries the same as they're taxing us. That's all.
Wow.
And what happened? Do any of the experts, any of the journalists, the economic scholars want to weigh in here? No? Look, before lunch today, Europe, whose market was hit twice as hard as ours after Trump's 20% tariff went into place, they came running to the table.
Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. We are open for negotiations. And that in parallel, we are preparing a potential list for retaliation and other measures for retaliation if this is necessary.
They don't have anything to retaliate, but that's super weird. Now they're willing to nix tariffs on industrial goods, 0 for 0. That sounds an awful lot like fair trade. Wasn't that Trump's goal from the beginning? India got ahead of this before the tariffs went into place. Netanyahu met with Trump today in the Oval Office, and wouldn't you know?
We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States. We intend to do it very quickly. We think it's the right thing to do. And we're going to also eliminate trade barriers, a variety of trade barriers that have been put up unnecessarily. And I think Israel can serve as a model for many countries who ought to do the same. We are going to eliminate the tariffs.
Imagine that. But now that Vietnam is facing a 46% tariff, Taiwan facing a 32%, South Korea facing a 25%, Japan facing a 24%, they have all mysteriously jumped in line for discussions, along with Canada and Mexico. They all want to make deals now. It's weird. You guys could have done this before they went into effect, but you wanted to mess around. And now you're in the find out phase. Thailand also facing a 36% tariff. And a few others, they're all blowing up the White House phone lines right now. The UK under Sir Keir Starmer. Look, I'm not calling that guy sir. He is so far from what his ancestors intended to be the title of knighthood. Starmer is a bit in a pickle, though, because Trump said there's going to be no deal without free speech in the UK, and he's specifically referring to a woman's case that simply held up a sign across the street from an abortion clinic that said, "Here if you want to talk." That woman right there. Trump is effectively using the tariffs there to ensure freedom for the people of the UK in addition to economic for both of us.
Wow.
Keir Starmer, Mr. Globalist himself, though, even now he's admitting that globalism has failed. All the major players are all doing exactly what I said they were going to do last week. People called me crazy. The opposite of what all the experts said. And I stand by the fact that we're going to have somewhat of a market rebound by the end of this week. The only one not falling in line is China. They're like a saber-rattling country trying to save face in the midst of their own economic problems. They're already, or before this, they were already on the verge of collapse. They had strict rules in their banking. Their economy was teetering from overexpanding to fund like huge global initiatives in the third world countries while maintaining like the worst communist dictatorship that has never succeeded in the history of ever. Their markets were hit 2 to 3 times harder than ours this morning because they export to the U.S. at a rate 500% more than we do to them.
Wow.
And when China put a 34% tariff on us, Trump threatened a 50% tariff on them by noon tomorrow, and then decided, escalating by, China wanted to escalate it, so they dumped $50 billion worth of our bonds onto the market in an attempt to push bond yields up, which they know is the opposite of what Trump wants. He's trying to get money out of the stock market into the bond market. It's like, it's a minor hiccup, but they can't do that forever, because we can essentially print money and pay them back. So they can't go toe-to-toe with us on this. Their people are suffering massively. China, they only have 3 ways out of this. 1, they can push their people to work more and produce more goods at even lower wages to stay globally competitive. That actually could lead to a revolution, believe it or not. 2, they could devalue their own currency, which would totally collapse their economy. Or 3, they could just drop the tariffs. That would be the easiest to do. But they don't have elections. You can only push people so far before the whole system falls apart, which is closer than they want us to think. So here's what's going to happen. Xi Jinping will probably buckle. Look, Trump's a deal maker. He's going to do this in a way that allows him to save face internally, and will probably have fair trade with them in like a week or 2. But what I think is lost, certainly on any media analysis from the legacy media, and I think this is a perspective to consider when you think about who holds the generational wealth in America right now. Think about this. Crashing the stock market, totally fine during COVID when a bunch of liberal baby boomers thought that they would die from an illness with a 99.7 survival rate. That they also really didn't affect young people. But now it's being done to adjust the trade deficit. They have a problem with it. It's like this will definitely and mostly affect younger people more than any baby boomer out there, at least at least not in their lifetime.
The facts, guys. The facts just blow my mind. It was perfectly okay when the stock market fell during COVID because we're going through a pandemic. We're going to shut the entire world down, even though over 99.9% survival rate. But now when Trump's trying to put America first, trying to make sure that we're sustainable for the long haul, and we don't keep raising the debt ceiling, and we don't keep taxing our people into oblivion, that's when the Democrats fight. Right now, guys, please, let me know in the comments, is there anything that the Democrats have that is merited to actually fight against Trump about? Is there anything? Because I don't think so. I think, let me know in the chat, if there's anything that they have, please let me know, because I don't think they got anything. I can't think of anything. When it comes to the economy, tariffs, voting, the border security, protecting women, making sure that we are getting DEI out of our schools, Trump has a 100% kicked butt in all aspects. Remember, he said, what are we going to do? No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on Social Security. We're going to eliminate this federal tax for anybody making under $150,000. Like, this is huge. I love what Trump is doing, and I hope you do too.
And suddenly it's not okay to have these dips? I mean, you think about the perspective there. But even more interesting, while everyone is focused on the stock market, let's put some stuff in further perspective. Think about this. Here's the Dow since its inception. You are here all the way at the right side of the screen with that arrow. I can statistically say with 100% certainty that you'll be okay. The Dow is up 3,000% since its inception. You're gonna be okay. Give it a month. But what's been the effect outside the stock market is key. The same stock market the Democrats said for the last 4 years, oh, it doesn't matter. What's happening to Main Street? Eggs are down over 70%. Fuel has come down drastically. Oil hitting under $60 a barrel from its high under Biden, which hit 110 plus.
Ooh.
These tariffs are doing wonders for some industries that have been completely decimated by unfair trade policies for years. The shrimping industry is one of them. They're thrilled. Trump has secured more investments into America in just the last few weeks than Biden did during his entire term. And the Fed? The Fed met today to discuss lowering interest rates, which could save every American getting their mortgage more than their 401k lost in the last week. You see what's going on here?
Ooh.
Look, economics is not subjective. All these libs can have an opinion, but they're wrong. They've been wrong for 40 years. It's a cause and effect thing. There is a stark reality. No matter how much libs tell you that mass spending and government handouts stimulate the economy, it doesn't. Globalism doesn't work because every country has a different agenda. And because our politicians have been more worried about being liked rather than standing up for America to get fair trade, Trump needed to do a hard reset. But it's the past guys' fault. Biden, Obama, Bush 2, Clinton, Bush 1, all the way back to Reagan. He was really the only person that took this seriously in my lifetime. Look, a strong America is better. Capitalism is better. Free trade is better. If it wasn't, even if it had been equal, the Berlin Wall would never have come down. But it did. The experiment of socialism and communism fails every single time it's implemented. Every single time. There's a reason people are fleeing in inflatable rafts to get here from there, because we did it right here in America. But now we have 49% of our own people, most of which don't even have a dime in the stock market, by the way. Nearly half the country is waging a war on the one guy who's trying to make us better off because some well-funded nonprofit told them to. This is short-term discomfort, folks. These tariffs had to be imposed because for some strange reason, foreign leaders thought that Trump wasn't going to do it. I mean, I don't know why. But the lessons are to them, and they're super important. One, America is serious, and we want fair trade. We're not doing anything other countries aren't doing to us.
Yes.
But more importantly, we just literally beat the entire world in a head-to-head matchup. We didn't blink, and we won.
Guys, is that not insane to think that the United States literally is literally going up against the entire world when it comes to our tariffs? And guess what? Over 80 countries now have called and are negotiating as we speak with Trump over their trade agreements. Are we not winning? What do they say? What is it, Gladiator? Are you not entertained? Are you kidding me? Man, I love it, guys. I hope you love it too. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers. Guys, want to say thank you to all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family. Guys, we want you here. We want to serve you every day with the top news. We appreciate you so much. We want to say thank you to everybody that is a member. Guys, all of our new members today, they got gifted free memberships. Show some love in the chat. And thank you to everybody that's given a super chat donation. Remember, on the 22nd of every single month, we're going to be donating live on stream, guys, giving back to the charity New Beginnings. I'm super excited, guys. We have been able to give, praise God, over $31,000 in charity in the past 6 months through your support. And it's all because of y'all, guys. This channel doesn't exist without you. We want to give some love to Michelle Lindsay, Glow, Lay Lewis, Woolly Booger. Yeah, I said that right, guys. Woolly Booger. Thank you for joining the family and upgrading your membership. Michelle Fiala, GL Poffreeman, Tracy Gardner, April Green, Judy Lid Loving Spirit, Michelle Eisner, Designed by Phoebe, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, OG, baby. Bystander, Tina M. Wakefield, Deanna Scott, Sandra Esparza, Deanna Rankin, Michelle Filer for gifting a True Life News, Glow for gifting another 5 True Life News memberships, and the super chats. Guys, show them some love in the chat. So proud of what is going on. So excited. Remember, we're here to serve you Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. We love you all. Appreciate you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.